I'm your host, Tony T, broadcasting live here on the Pig Dogs channel. I want to welcome everyone back to the drive-thru. Now, the drive-thru has changed a little bit. We are now a collaboration with Tony's Pigs and Pig Dogs, and working together here as the drive-thru will air Monday through Friday here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Pig Dogs YouTube channel. Sorry for all this technical stuff. We were switching channels. We got it all ironed out now, so we'll be able to broadcast for you here. Format like we started, right? We'll have our cappers on, give out live free plays today. We'll come in, give their pick, give their promo, then we'll get right on to the picks. And guys, we ask you if you would be sure to subscribe and like. We greatly appreciate it. Really have a little bit of audience when you do that here on our YouTube channel of over 270,000 users here on the Pig Dogs YouTube. So let's get the show underway. Let's go ahead and welcome in Javon Birch. You'll catch him over at Pig Dogs Premium. John, as you know, over the years, has produced some great numbers here at Pig Dogs. So let's bring him in right now, ready to roll here with Javon. NBA coverage with Javon. Javon, what's going on?
Tony T in the place to be. What's up with you, baby?
Yeah, doing great. Great to have working with you again. It's a lot of fun here as we work on this collaboration with the two sites. And of course, we are broadcasting live on the YouTube, so I'm looking good. All right, we're good. All right, Javon, we're getting right to work here with this one. With the Rockets and the Bulls, we see the Rockets are going to be laying 9, total 233.
Yeah, and we're rolling with the over in this game. You know, this line started out being, 227 and a half is somewhere around there. So this, there's been some movement, from its opening. Now, we all know, it's well documented, about the offensive woes for the Houston Rockets. But last couple games, they put up some numbers, 123 and 117. And there was one tweak that they did, and it seemed to open up some things. Reed Shepard's in the starting lineup, less minutes for Tari Eason, and hey, they've been doing the job these last couple games. And these are the things that you have to anticipate with teams. Little tweaks here and there to, straighten out some things, and that seemed to have done it. And they're going up against the Chicago Bulls team who they're going nowhere fast. We all know this. They're not going to make the playoffs, not even the play-in like they have been in the last several seasons. And, they're a team that's just trying things out, putting in players that really ain't supposed to be in the league as far as I'm concerned. Now, they still got, some guys, Josh Giddey and, all that good stuff. So they're going to pace it up. They're a pace-up team. Whereas the Houston Rockets, they're a pace-down team. So it's very interesting how this thing's going to go. But if the last 9 games between these two are any indication, it's going to go over. Though that's how it's been in the last 9 games. I expect number 10 in this one. And I expect for the Houston Rockets to, put up a big number and for the Bulls to contribute.
All right, we got Javon says, go over here with the Rockets and the Bulls. Javon, I'm just looking here at this Rockets team. This is an issue here. I think when we get in the postseason, the three-point shooting has been a little off. Of course, they've made a change there. No more Dylan Brooks. We got Kevin Durant in there. Sengun has been someone who's contributed. But do you think there's enough guys around some of their stars here to get it done once we get in the postseason?
Defensively, yes. Even though with Sengun, you kind of lose a little bit defensively in that area. But, he is a hell of a offensive player. You got the big dog, the future Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, and Kevin Durant. But with him, he could carry a team. But his body language sometimes gives things away. So, it's a situation where I like their pieces. They just got to figure out how to harness all their guys. Amen Thompson, hell of a player, one of the most athletic players in the league as far as I'm concerned. And, he puts up some numbers if you let him. So if you let him shoot, you let him do his thing, drive downhill, get rebounds, just the ball off sometimes. There's the problem with them is, first off, they don't have, a table setter. They don't have that point guard that they used to have, in Van Fleet. He's going for the season, but nevertheless, so sometimes it's, in this form of the NBA, you don't really need a point guard, but at the same time, I think for this team, you do need it. Now, in this situation, end of game situations, that's their really problem in this one. For this team at least, it seems like it should be Kevin Durant, taking control of things, but he hasn't been that guy for some reason in the late game situation. So I like this team. I think they can go far, but at the end of the day, time will tell. They have good coaching as well, so.
Yeah, the coaching there is there, and we're just going to see if they can get it together, get the offense going. Of course, that Lakers series, the Lakers took 2 on them. Van Fleet, we know, is out for Houston. Other than that, they're pretty healthy. And then we look here for Chicago. Kuro, Yabusele, doubtful. Ivy, Simon Smith will be questionable. But again, this is the Bulls team that have seen them playing several past couple seasons, but this year, nope, that's shut down for them. They're not going anywhere. Oh. Might have lost Javon there a second.
Now, repeat that again?
Oh, no, I was just saying here, the Bulls' playoff hopes just seem dampered now. There's pretty much, we're a play-in team. We've seen that, but this year, it's just gone south.
Yeah, they just don't have it. This season has just been one of those things where the guys that they had, the Vucevic of the world, they're gone. They're the epitome of mediocrity. And this season, as opposed to other seasons where they made the play-in, it's just not happening. So they need to figure out some things, in the coming years. Is Billy Donovan the guy? Yeah. I don't know. Huh. I mean, he's a good coach from his days in Florida. And, with OKC, he brought OKC, somewhere, not to the levels where they're at now, but he is a good coach. The front office, they need to figure out what the hell they're going to do because they're the poster child of mediocrity as far as I'm concerned.
There we go, Javon here. Over here at Rockets and Bulls tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, NBA League Pass Channel. All right, Javon, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Premium for tonight's action. Of course, a lot going on today over on the site with we've got plays from NBA, getting into college basketball coming back tomorrow here with the NIT coming back. And we'll see what Javon's got for sale today over at Pick Dogs Premium. Javon, what you got?
Yeah, all NBA action for today. You just said NIT's popping tomorrow, but that's for tomorrow's action. For today, I have 3 plays. One of them being my premium extendo clip, where lifetime 5 and 7, but plus 608. If you know anything about the extendo clip, that's where we move the line in the direction of a worse number to get a better payout, to get plus money. Most of the time 2 to 1 on your money, 3 to 1 on your money. So, it's one of those plays where, we're shooting for the stars. I also have a player's prop, and then I have one play, all individually sold. So jump on board.
That's right, guys. Get over with Javon Burns over at Pick Dogs Premium. Link in the description will take you over to Pick Dogs. All cappers, that's where you go. And, of course, you'll land right here on Javon's page. There's extendo clip up there. Credit guarantee must turn a profit amount purchased will be credited back to your account for site credits. That's credit guarantee. You can see Javon come off a big day yesterday, last 24 hours. This is all based on $100 unit wager size. As you'll scroll, you'll see 3 packs from Javon, as well as plays from John today. Long subscriptions also the way to go, from a 3-day to a 1 month to 1 year. And of course, you can validate all of Javon's records by going right to his handicapper page where all the results are there for you guys to check out. All right. Javon, as always, great having you here on the drive-thru. Great to be back in the drive-thru with you. Make it a great night. We'll catch up with you later in the week.
Yeah, absolutely. Check out my extended clip playing my 2-team parlay, each and every day on the YouTube website.
Check out the YouTube site over at Pick Dogs. All right, Javon, have a great night. We'll catch up with you later.
Absolutely.
Javon.
See you later, Sony.
All right, Javon Burst here on the drive-thru. Let's continue here on the drive-thru. It's back here on the Pick Dogs YouTube channel. We are now a collaboration between Pick Dogs and Tony's Picks, the collaboration here featuring cappers from both sites. So let's continue here on the drive-thru. Up next, Justin McKevy. You'll find him over at Tony's Picks. We'll bring Justin in right now. Action here from the NBA. It's pretty much all NBA and NHL for the day. So let's bring in Justin, ready to roll here for today's action. This thing we're set to go. We're going to get the game set up with Justin here as we'll welcome Justin into the show. I think we're all set to go. Justin, what's going on?
How you doing, Tony?
Doing great, doing great. Some of you guys might know Justin amongst some of the shows out there. Stacks is one of the nicknames that you find as well. So we'll get to the games here. We're going to look at the Mavericks game tonight with Justin tonight in this 10-game card here from the NBA. We're just kind of going through them right now. It will be the Mavericks in action here against the Warriors. This is your game on Peacock here at late night, 9:30 Eastern time. We see the Warriors here going to lay 2, total 231.5, but you're going to be looking at this one a little differently.
Yeah, I got a lot of action in this game actually, but as far as this play for today, I'm on a player prop, and anytime you see like a high total, and mainly I'm targeting the Warriors defense. The reason why I'm targeting the Warriors defense because they're on the 5th leg on a road game. So like after this game, I think they're going to punt this game. They go back home for 2 games starting Wednesday. So after a 5-game road trip, got blown out the last 3 games on the road by double digits. So I wanted to target their defense, and I'm going at Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg is going to be the guy I'm going to go after. And one thing I looked at him, he loves to cover his number at home. 1 and 2 out of the last home games. He's covered his last home game, covered his number. And more importantly, he covered the last game against the Warriors. He covered his number. And the number is 34 over 34 plus points, rebounds, and assists at minus 125. I just think we love this number. I think Clay will have a lot of points. I think Clay's threes, but I mainly want to target points, rebounds, and assists. I think he's going to do a little bit of everything. I think he's going to have like a lot of assists for Clay, a lot of rebounds. Anytime you look at a high point total, so I love the Cooper Flagg. Stay hot, cashed me the last 2 times last game. So Cooper Flagg, 34 plus points, rebounds, and assists.
All right, we go with prop here. Cooper Flagg, 34 plus points, rebounds, assists. Minus 125 here as it's the Warriors and the Mavericks tonight, late night game here on Peacock, where Flagg has been putting up some good numbers. Of course, he's Knipple is kind of giving a run here as far as some of these rookies here in the league in 2026.
Yeah, but that's because Cooper Flagg, if he would have played the whole time, he'd have had it lands down. But now with the 65-game rule, I don't know if he's gonna make it. Like he's under it now, but I don't think he can miss too many more games. So look like it's gonna be Connor Knipple. We should have looked at that long ago, but can't go wrong with either one. They're 2 good rookies. Like he's not no Doncic, but I mean he's doing all right to be a rookie. So I ain't mad at him. I'm gonna back on him today again. Cooper Flagg.
All right, Cooper Flagg here at 34 points, rebounds, and assists, minus 125, 9:30 Eastern time. You can watch this one over on Peacock, game 2 of their doubleheader. All right, Justin, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Premium for tonight's action. I'm sorry, Tony's Picks tonight with Justin today. Great work in the NHL for today. What do you got for sale over at Tony's Picks?
Yeah, there was no college, so we'll be back at NIT tomorrow. But I got 2 NBAs. I got a best bet, a little premium, both in the NBA. So check them out. Been running not too bad. Got crushed yesterday, but outside of that, I've been running pretty all right. So.
All right, guys, got over with Justin McCalvey over at Tony's Picks based on our unit wager size. Click the link in the description, land right on Justin's page. Ready to roll here for action here today. Up on the board, long subscriptions the way to go. 3 days, 7 day, all the way to a 1 month all sports pass. Get on our board. Individual play up for sale right now from Justin as well. So get on board and use that promo code TonyT at checkout. Over at Tony's Picks, he'll save you that 15% off link in the description to get signed up. All right, Justin, as always, great having you on the show. Have yourself a great evening, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow.
You too.
You too. We got Justin McCalvey here on the drive-thru. All right, let's continue here on the show. We'll go ahead and welcome in David Racy. You'll catch him over at Pick Dogs. And on today's show, we'll promote Pick Dogs with David Racy. Let's see if we get him ready to roll here. Action today again from the NBA. This is one of the big games, although not national television, but will be televised in local markets and on the League Pass channel. We'll bring in David ready to roll today from the card today. David, what's going on?
Not much, Tony. How are you doing?
Doing great. All right. This is one of the interesting games here tonight. Lakers and the Pistons. We've seen this number come down. It was a little higher overnight. Lakers down to 1. We set a total here at 225. A quick check of the injury reports, and we're going to find here that Hakamura, Kleber, Smart, questionable, Smith, probable. For the Pistons, it looks like Cunningham, Sasser, Stewart out. Looks like Luka's going to get in there despite that technical. Looks like they're going to try and fight that. But anyway, pretty good game tonight between Lakers and Pistons. How do you see it?
Yeah, my Pistons, they started the season hot. They've been dealing with injuries lately. Not playing too well lately either when you look at how they're doing against good teams. Obviously, half the NBA is not really trying nowadays. But you look at their last few opponents, they have struggled against the good teams over the last 2 or 3 weeks. They really haven't beaten a playoff team in about 3 weeks. But I'm going to take them here at home. I know they're without Cade Cunningham, which is a huge loss for them, and hopefully he's back for the postseason. They're also out or without Sasser, so down 2 guards. I'm definitely going to test the depth here in this one, but I do think this is a good spot for them. They play very well on their home court, and this Lakers team is on their 5th game of a road trip. They still have one more road game on the road trip, so it's not the last one, but they're coming off of a physical battle against the Magic where they won late, and that one had to have a big fourth quarter. And Orlando's a good defensive team, but the Pistons are an even better defensive team. And I think that physicality and the defense that Detroit provides can cover for the loss of offensive production that they don't have with Cade. And I just think coming off of that Magic game, now having to deal with Detroit, back-to-back physical games without Smart, which is a big loss for them. I think the Pistons can get it done at home. If this was in LA, I would like the Lakers, but I think the Pistons can take advantage of LA on this long road trip.
Yeah, the Pistons here, even money here on the money line and moving quickly here as we've seen this line move from a 2.5 opener. Yeah, you mentioned the road trip. It's getting long. I think they got Indiana, which I think is probably a gimme here because nobody can engineer a loss better than Rick Carlisle.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, the half the NBA now, it's tough to navigate the NBA right now. It's half the teams are out of it. And they're not even trying whatsoever. So it's definitely interesting. So, yeah, the Lakers will pick up a win there. They are red hot, though. I mean, the Lakers over the last, 3 weeks, maybe the best team in the NBA. So it should be a great game. I just think Detroit's defense and physicality will be the difference.
All right, we got David here on the Pistons money line. Even money. This one starts 7 Eastern time, NBA League Pass channel. All right, David, let's take a look over at we'll promote Pit Dogs Premium with David Racy here for tonight's action. Of course, lots on the board tonight here from the NBA, NHL, and more. What do you have for sale over at Pit Dogs Premium?
Yeah, tonight I have 3 plays, 1 in the NHL. We've been red hot in the NHL over the last 3 months. We had a terrible start, but red hot in the NHL lately, and then 2 NBA player props. I had a solid weekend to start March Madness, but really not a good day yesterday for me. Had a couple of close calls. At St. John's collapse was brutal, unbelievable. But still, it was a winning weekend overall, so we'll definitely take it. Like everyone else said, it's not a huge day today, not much going on. But tomorrow we have the NIT, and then Wednesday baseball is right around the corner. And I'm a high volume bettor for those that don't know. So long-term 3-day, 7-day, 30-day is definitely more value than just the single picks or the 3 or 5 picks that I offer because I do have such high volume. So head on over to Pick Dogs and check it out.
Yeah, on board with David Racy over at Pick Dogs Premium. Link in the description will get you right over to David Racy's handicapper page, and over there you'll be able to pick up his premium plays, best bets, and more up there right now. So get on board. Of course, the long-term subscription is the way to go, especially now with all these sports overlapping. This is when you want to get on board with David here. As you can see, Monday NHL NBA player prop 3-pack up there from David, as well as more packages up on the board. Empty netter from NHL. And, of course, you get into your season passes, 3-day passes, 1-year passes, especially now with all these sports overlapping. No better time to get on board with David on a long-term subscription. You can verify all these plays and records right on David's handicapper page with the records showing there from every play that he posted over at Pick Dog. So get on board, link in the description, hit the All Cappers tab, and find David Racy and go ahead and get signed up. All right, David, as always, have yourself a great evening. I know we're getting excited in Detroit. You got some pitching. And you got some hitting, and the division I think is very much winnable in my book.
Oh yeah, for sure. I am excited about the rotation. The pitching for Detroit's really been solid the last few years. The offense I'm a little worried about. They're really stubborn about trying to grow from within and not going out and getting that big free agent. But the Central is definitely winnable. The teams are pretty weak in the AL Central, in my opinion. Interested to see how the Skubal thing plays out. I don't know if they're going to trade him at the deadline because you can't really afford to lose him for nothing. But if they're in the race, you can't trade him. So they've kind of backed themselves into a corner there. But yeah, I'm excited. Should be a good year. And yeah, the AL Central's pretty weak, so we should be in it at least in the race come September.
Very good. All right, David. Looking forward to the start of baseball. Have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you again next week.
All right, have a good one, Tony. Thank you.
You as well. David Racy here on the drive-thru. Guys, the drive-thru returns over the Pick Dogs YouTube channel Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. It's now a collaboration with Tony's Picks and Pick Dogs Handicappers, filling up this hour here on the drive-thru. Let's continue here on the show. Up next, we'll bring in El Ninos, catch him over at Tony's Picks. We'll bring El in right now. Coverage tonight here from the NBA. Ready to roll here with El Ninos. El, what's going on?
Hey, yeah, good to be back on the drive-thru. Been a while, missed this show, and glad we have it back. How are you doing, Tony?
I'm doing great, doing awesome. All right, here we go tonight. NBA coverage with El Ninos, Spurs Heat head-to-head. We see this one come down a bit. We saw some 5s earlier overnight, and it's come down to 3.5. This is game 1 on the Peacock here, total 244. Let's take a look here at the injury reports before we start the segment here. Spurs and Heat. It's Castle and Vassell questionable for San Antonio. Rozier out. Norman Powell questionable. Wiggins and Jaquez probable. So here we go. Heat and Spurs. It's Spurs road favorites 3.5.
Yeah, I think all these guys, obviously other than Rozier here, have been cleared to play. So obviously, yeah, we had a lot of question marks this morning when we looked at this one. I'm seeing them all again off the injury report now. So maybe they like these the healthier players here for the Heat, and that also brought the money or the line down. But I'm actually still seeing some movement on this line. I could see, I know it's close to tip off now, but I could see this one drop down to 3 by the time it does actually tip off. And well, again, as I said, it's close to tip off, so I'm on the Spurs here. Again, I would try to wait till closer to tip off and get this 3, but again, they should be able to win this one by more than the possession here. Now, when we look at the head-to-head, the Heat have played them pretty well. They've won 8 of the last 10 meetings. But look at the against the spread here, 4, 5, and 1 are the Spurs. So doing a little better against the number. And maybe more importantly here, definitely playing the better basketball coming into this one. Off of 5 straight wins, the Heat coming into this one on a 4-game losing streak. And yeah, they failed to cover 3 of the last 4 games as well, the Heat have. So I think the Spurs can come in this one on the road as a road favorite. They're just a 10-10-1 against the spread, but 16-5 straight up. And again, this is not a big number, especially anymore now that we're asking them to cover. So I think that San Antonio comes into Miami and gets the job done. I'll lay the points here with the Spurs.
All right, El Ninos here on the Spurs, laying the 3.5 here against the Miami Heat. We see, as we said, we talked about the line coming down a little bit here in this one. Yeah, with this Spurs team, yeah, them and the Thunder look to be the top 2 in the West. But I know, El Ninos, you've been keeping tabs on that this Lakers team that has been storming. Do you think this can continue in their success in the postseason?
I guess it's what happens when you bash any team, right? They start to wake up a little bit. Yeah, it's a team that I'm still not very fond of as far as the way they play and all that, but not my favorite players in the league. But hey, still a Lakers fan here, and I guess I'm still rooting for them. Don't get me wrong, but I've gone all against them quite a bit this season. Am I going against them tonight? I'm not so sure about that, but we'll see. We'll see. As David Racy was saying, should be a good one. Last one they played there in Orlando, as he mentioned as well, came down to the wire. So hey, should be an interesting one. I'll definitely be rooting for my Lakers, and yeah, hope they go deep into the playoffs and make a run for it. I think it's a pretty open playoff. So I know the Thunder have been they started off blowing teams out left and right, but not doing that so much lately. So I think most of these teams can give them a run for their money in a 7-game series. So it should be a fun playoff. All
right, we got Al here on Spurs, lay 3.5 here against the Heat. This one to have a start time here of 7 Eastern Time, Peacock to televise. All right, El Ninos, let's take a look over at Tony's picks for tonight's card. NBA really filling up the board tonight. Single on the NHL as well. El Ninos has put a great record today this year over at Tony's picks. 985 units of profit document over at Tony's picks. What do you have for sale?
Yeah, just one play in the NBA today. Pretty tempted to touch on that NHL game as well, but might just leave it alone there. It might get tricky being the lone game on the card. So yeah, go check it out. Alley-oop on the card there in the NBA. And again, grab one of those long-term passes, always your best way to go.
That's right, guys. Get on board with Al Ninos over at Tony's Picks. Your link is in the description. We'll get you right on over to the site and get on board with Al Ninos. Of course, the records are documented over at both sites over at Tony's Picks. You can see 985 for the year. And Al Ninos here with an alley-oop, which is profit guareguaranteed, meaning it must turn a profit amount purchased will be credited back to your account for site credits. That is profit guaranteed. So get on board with El Ninos over at Tony's Picks. Link in the description will get you on there as well as those long-term subscriptions. The way to go as well. All right, Al, as always, great having your show. Continue the success, and we'll catch up with you soon.
All right, thanks, Tony. Have a good one.
You as well. Al Ninos here on the drive-thru. Sorry for the late start today, and for that reason, we're going to go right to Bo because his game starts in about 5 minutes. A little 5 to 10 minutes here. So Bo done next here on the drive-thru. We'll bring Bo in right now. Bo, we lost Bo. We lost Bo. All right, so let's get back to the show. So that means we are going to go to Rod next here on the drive-thru. You can catch Rod over. We're going to promote today Rod at Pick Dogs Premium is what we'll promote Rod today. We'll bring Rod in ready to roll here. We lost Rod also. We lost them both. Okay. And so next up, we're going to go to Chris Atkins. Find Chris over at Tony's Picks. NHL coverage from Chris for today. I think we'll be set to go here. We'll bring in Chris Atkins right now, ready to roll. Chris, what's happening?
Oh, not much. Just glad to be here on the drive-thru today with you guys. Short card, but I think we got a winner.
All right, let's get right to it. We go to the hockey single game on the board, Senators and Rangers. We see the Senators $1.83 on the road. We see the total coming in at 6.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at a goal scorer today. You guys know I specialize in props over at Tony's Picks with the hit list and everything. And I'm looking at Alexis Lafreniere. He is the right wing with the Rangers. Now, he's 100% in the last 3 home matchups against the Senators here. So great spot for him. He's definitely priced really good there. Shop your lines, get the best price for him. I got him at about $2.45 today. So shop that. But yeah, I definitely think he gets us a goal tonight.
All right, Chris here on the Alexis Lafreniere here, anytime goal scorer here. Of course, Chris, your hit list has been very popular over at Tony's Picks.
Yeah, definitely been popular on the channel there. We've got the home run hit list. We've got a futures home run hit list already out on the site, so go to Tony's Picks YouTube channel and check that out there. Now, as of Wednesday, you will have a opening day game between the Yankees and the Giants, home run hit list, and an 11-game card on Thursday. All my systems were updated at 3 o'clock today, so super excited to get all the data that I need, and we're going to have a winning season this year. Put 220 up last year that we cashed, and we're hoping to do the same this year.
That's right. Look for the Chris's hit list on the Tony Picks YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe if you would. All right, Chris, let's take a look over at Tony's Pick for tonight's card. Of course, heavy on the NBA, single NHL as well. Chris has put together. Chris is pretty much specializes here on his props and baseball is one of his big sports as well. What do you have for sale today over at Tony's Picks?
I got you guys a best bet in the NBA tonight. Snatch that up before game time there. My favorite play on the board. So I got that since it was a little bit, I know it was heavy in NBA, but I went light since I had such a big weekend with college basketball. Hop on something long-term with me, though. We know we've got Thursday back in action with the Sweet 16 here. As of Wednesday, we will have MLB back as well. I've got a season pass out there as well if you want to get that opening day all the way to the World Series for one price. So go pick up that there. And I'll be doing about 3 to 5 plays a day in the MLB, so I get a little bit heavier on the betting. For baseball, it's my favorite sport to cover, so go check me out there. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout, save you the 15%.
That's right, guys. Go over with Chris Atkins over at Tony's Picks. Link in the description will get you right over to Tony's Picks and get on board with Chris on one of his packages. Long-term subscriptions are the way to go. One-day pass is also profit guarantee, so go ahead and get signed up. All right, Chris, as always, great having your show. Have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you on the drive-thru next week.
All right, see you guys next week.
You got it. Chris Atkins here on the drive-thru. All right, let's continue here on the drive-thru. Looks like we got Bo back in. So let's bring in Bo Dunn and catch him over at Tony's Picks game to start in about 10 minutes. So bring Bo in right now. Bo, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, Tony? What's going on?
It's going great. All right, here we go. NBA coverage for tonight with Pacers and Magic. We see Orlando a 10.5-point favorite, total 233 and a hook.
Yeah, man, this game started 13 and a half. We're seeing it going down really fast. Wish we could have got it a little bit earlier at the 13 and a half, but I still like it at this point. We know that, like you said earlier, Rick Carlisle finds a way to win, but they still been covering spreads, 6% covers for the season, actually. And on the other side, man, before Orlando lost these 4 games straight, we know they was on a 7-game win streak, but none of those wins were by double digits. The last 3 times they played Indiana, the last time they played them, they beat them by 8, but they have not beaten them by no more than 8 in none of those games. So they winning games, but I just don't trust Orlando laying big numbers. They have Cleveland coming up next, so it's also could be a look ahead. So I'm just gonna grab them points. I think the line move is valid. So give me the Pacers plus the 10, 10.5.
Pacers plus a 10, 10.5 here from Bo. Yeah, that's right. This Pacers team has a lot of shooters, but it's like I said, nobody can engineer a loss better than Rick Carlo. But you got to cover that number, and of course for Orlando, oh boy, they're coming off that Paulo Banchero. I don't know what they were doing, leaving Kennard wide open on that 3-point shot as the Lakers got a nice win there. Marcus Smart made the pass. They didn't try to force it to Luka. Didn't try to force it to LeBron. Got it to the right guy. That's Marcus Smart for you. But this Magic team, they got to be really, when they look at that film, that's going to be really eating them up right now.
Yeah, man, that's another thing too. It's a gut wrenching loss, so they can also still be playing in their mind. And in that game, man, they only shot 43%. Paulo Banchero and I think it was, I can't think of the other player guy, but I think it was but it was one of the other best players they got. I think it was the guy that played for Memphis. Can't remember his name right now. It's slipping my mind. But they went 8 for 28 from the field, 28 points combined. Just not gonna get it done. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to play offense to be able to cover these big spreads. And yeah, man, that was just a bad defense selection they did in that game. I know it was really tough with that late win like that. So I think that the carry over in this one, I just don't see them covering the spread. Like I said, man, I wish we caught that number when it was up at 13 and a half. But I still like the Pacers, man, to keep it close. They have not lost against the Magic by more than 8 points over the last 4 games. So y'all think they can keep it with the double digits.
All right, so we got Bo here on the Pacers now, plus 10.5, 7 p.m. Eastern time over on NBA League Pass channel. All right, Bo, let's take a look over at Tony's picks for tonight's card. Bo's put together impressive numbers over the last 7 days. Bo's been red hot in NCAA basketball as well. Bo, what you got for sale today over at Tony's picks?
I got a 3-pack in the NBA. My $19 best bet is included. It's going to be in that Raptors and Jazz game. So if you just want to get the $19, just count that. But most likely just go ahead and get all 3, man. Definitely been hot in college basketball. I'm looking forward for the Sweet 16. This been on a hot run, man. So no really nothing to say. And this business is all about today, not what happened yesterday, man. So we try to not cry about the losses. We don't brag when we win. We just try to keep grinding, man. So yeah, man, get some long term. Y'all ain't get that 30 days. That'll get you a lot, like a month of MLB, with MLB starting on Wednesday. That'd probably be the best option, man. Get that 30-day package. Let's cash some tickets together.
That's right. Get on board with Bo Dunn over at Tony's Picks. 1,111 units of profit over the last 7 days. Document over at Tony's Picks. Link in the description will get you right over to the side. Hit the all cappers tab. You can see Bo's handicapper page here, producing great results here. College basketball has been red hot right now over the last 7 days. Over 1,000 units of profit based on a $100 unit wager size. Bo Dunn with guaranteed best bet on the board right now. Profit guaranteed, meaning it must turn a profit or amount purchase will be credited back to your account for site credits. That's profit guarantee. Get on board with Bo over at Tony's Picks. Long-term subscription is also a way to go with Bo. If you get that 1 month pass, the remainder of March Madness, remainder of the NBA regular season in the playoffs, as well as baseball, which begins on Wednesday, but a full 28 days of baseball because that 30-day pass as we begin baseball on Wednesday. So get on board with Bo over at Tony's Picks. All right, Bo, as always, great having you on the show. Continue that success. We'll catch up with you soon here on the drive-thru, but we also can catch you up on the Tony Picks YouTube channel. You contribute here to our morning shows. It airs before Pick Dogs at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time over on the Tony Picks YouTube channel. And of course, you do produce on-demand content as well.
Yes, sir, man. On the 90, I do the Bold 83. I be on Tony's Picks morning show Monday, Wednesday, then Fridays. And I'll be on the happy hour on Monday through Friday with Rod and Run. I tried to be on another day, but something happened with my connection. But I'll be on the happy hour as well. So check them out, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Always a pleasure, Tony.
You got it. Bo Dunn here on the drive. Have a great night. Catch up with you soon, Bo.
All right.
Bo Dunn here on the drive-thru, guys. But drive-thru here with you here Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And drive-thru is now a collaboration with Tony's Picks and with Pick Dogs. It'll be aired exclusively here on the Pick Dogs YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, set notifications for both channels. We greatly appreciate it. Tony's Picks YouTube as well as Pick Dogs YouTube. And check out both of our sites. All right, let's continue here on drive-thru. Let's see if Rod signed back. And he didn't, Rod. He didn't sign in. We had a late start today, so Rod is off right now. So let's go ahead and continue here on the drive-through. We're going to get coverage here from the NBA here. Looks like we'll get Ramon here in a second. Let me get the game logged in here. We're going to go Nets and the Trailblazers here tonight. This one here was ready to roll in a second. So let's bring in Ramon, catch him over at Tony Spix. We'll find out more about Ramon's live show as well on the Tony Spix YouTube channel. Let's bring Ramon in right now. Ramon, what's happening?
Yeah, Tony, watching some exciting women's games here today at 74-73 Kentucky, 0.2 seconds left. So, there's some blowouts going on too, but the women's tournament going. And I just want to say before I get going here, my game that I'm previewing here, Tony, my best bet's going off there. If you're cruising around over at the Tony's Pick site, I got the 7:10 Eastern game coming up. So go get that. We'll talk about the sales picks in a minute, but got my play going off here. Just I know we're running a little late here, but Tony, it's an honor to be on the Pick Dogs channel as well. I see some great names in there with Kel Dog, Tone Z in there, some regulars there. Mr. Williams, Javon Jones going dual stream, as Chick Hearn used to say, Tony, right? Simulcast, or I think I have a funny name for it.
That is right. Yeah. That's right here on the YouTube channel. Collaboration here with the Pick Dogs and YouTube and Tony's Picks Handicappers. Ramon, you'll find him over at Tony's Picks. Of course, a live show we'll talk about. So we'll get right to the game here tonight between the Nets and Trailblazers. We hit the Blazers here. They will be at least a playing team because there's no way Memphis is going to catch any of these teams, Gold Warriors or the Trailblazers. So Blazers here laying 16 here against the Nets, total 218.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Tony. I was talking about that last night on Night Moves. When it comes to the play, I'll talk about the game in just a second. But if you're in the 7 seed, Tony, you're 10 for 10. And we talk about the 7, 8, 9, 10 in the play. And if you're the 17, you're 10 for 10 since they've been doing this. And if you're the 8, you're 60%. If you're the 9, you're 30%. And if you're the 10 seed, Miami was the first team to ever do it last year, so you're 1 for 10. So you can see how important it is in some of the, to get that 7, 8, 9, 10. And over in the West, you have Clippers 8, Blazers 9, and Warriors 10. So I do think you get motivation here. Now, I am playing the blowout game here, of course, with the Blazers here favored by 16, the tankathon, as I call it on the night show there. But I'm going to look for the Blazers to get it done here against the Nets. There are some metrics that could say they could do it, even though both teams are on the back-to-back here. Portland just beat them last week by 19 points in Brooklyn, covering 11. So Nets just 2-15 since the break with a minus 15.3 net rating there. Offensively, also Brooklyn just 106.4 points per 100 possessions. That's 30th in the league. Portland's averaging 118 at home. You got the Blazers, a top 10 rebounding team. It's been one of their strengths, and in improving defense as well. The Nets are last in rebounding, so their defense is trending poorly. Talking about the Nets, 48% field goal percentage, 37% allowed from three recently, so decent numbers by the opposition. And again, Brooklyn playing on the back-to-back, and they're traveling, at least for Portland, they're traveling back home from their trip yesterday on their back-to-back. So Portland 20-14, ATS at home, Brooklyn just 16-20, ATS on the road, 29-37, ATS as a dog, and Portland just a little bit of struggling here, ATS of late, but I think they have the right opposition here in this one to take it down. And that's hats off to those teams, Tony, in the bottom of the East there. You mentioned it. Brooklyn, Washington, and Indiana are combined 0-39, Tony, right now, heading down the stretch. So I'm looking for the Blazers here. Look at a little bit of tax here, even. Could you believe it? It was 14 and a half, up to 16. So it made my pick for the show here. I know we're a little thin pickings, but I've been, looking at a lot of the tankathon games. If the team, other team has a chance in the playoffs, obviously, like I said, Portland, number 9, you want to get to at least number 8, because 7 and 8 are the teams that make the playoffs most of the time. The 9 really doesn't. 30%, the 10 just that one time last year, 10% was the Miami Heat that did that. So I think Portland controls the glass and the pace early. Brooklyn struggles to score efficiently, falls behind. Backdoor obviously will be the worry here, but I think it's going to be somewhere in the 20-point range here tonight. I think it actually may stay under this number. So I think I like the Blazers here minus 16. I think just a similar script to last week. They got the money on the road, and I'll take them to get the money here at home. Tony, in this one, I would imagine it'll be somewhere in there in the range of what do you think? I'll say 117-97. That gets it home, and it's an under.
All right, Ramon here on Trailblazers laying the 16 here against the Brooklyn Nets. Both teams coming in here off the back-to-back here. Portland playing on Sunday afternoon. And again, I could not believe the line move in that Nets-Kings game yesterday. It was just, I mean, from 4 to 6, and that's sharp money. I was really shocked to see that sharp bettors would bet the Kings.
No, I bought into it too a little bit there, and it came down to that move basically. There, it's a little bit sketchy. Obviously, when you got two teams there not heading to the postseason, I think that makes this pick a little bit different. All the take-a-thon picks, but we see some teams like for whatever reason the Thunder. We don't know. I don't have a pattern. If someone wants to tell me when the Thunder covers their double digits and when they decide not to, I'd love to know. But like I said, at least a team here with some true motivation there, even though they're, it's been a good season for the Blazers. I don't want to say it like that, really. This has been kind of a progression here a little bit for this team. They kind of worked on this program a little bit, kind of revamped them a little bit, and for them to be near 500 this year, I think they'll chalk it up as a successful year overall in their growth at this point. They really could use an influx of young talent to kind of keep this thing going right now. They've got some decent young players here, and they've been missing Sharp here for a while, but I'll take them tonight in this blowout, in this take-a-thon.
That's right. Now, you mentioned the Thunder, and I can't remember, Ramon, an NBA team winning by 21 and missing the cover.
Right? I mean, that one was right on the number there.
21 and a half. They were favored by, they win by 21.
Did the move go from 20 and a half to 21 and a half? I think got beat on that one, but the Thunder, they keep laying. It's hard. They're not that great against the spread, which is kind of funny. Considering their situation right now. Trying to hold off the Spurs. Tony, you think about it, right? And you think about a 3-game lead right now for the Thunder, and there's 11 games left. That's hard. It feels like, 3 games they'll make. Not when you're winning all the games. I mean, it's almost set, man. It's almost under 1 Spurs 2. I guess anything could happen, but when you're playing, your schedule, and you're going to play some teams they're going to almost beat with their eyes closed, it almost feels like a done deal there with 1-2. And hats off to the Lakers. You guys mentioned it, of course, separating themselves from that pack. I mean, to me, the Lakers, right, those years with LeBron, they tried to, we're just happy if we make it, we'll get in and do something. I don't think the Lakers, they need as many home games as they can. So the fact that they kind of solidified themselves, I think they'll probably hang on in third place, or at least be a benefit to them in the postseason. This run is kind of uncanny, this cover streak that they're on, because I don't know if we saw it coming. The Lakers put together such an impressive cover streak. Everyone was kind of critiquing them a little bit as being a bit of a fraud, and they've really kind of shown out here over the last 2.5 weeks.
Yep, they sure have. All right, we have Trailblazers laying the 16 here against the Nets. Start time 10 Eastern time. NBA League Pass channel. All right, Ramon, let's take a look over at Tony's pick for tonight's card. A lot of NBA on the board. Also action here from NHL. But Ramon, he bets tennis. He bets college baseball. We document that over at Tony's picks as well. Soccer. So Ramon has good results over the last 7 days. What do you have for sale tonight, Ramon?
Yeah, Tony, like I said, I apologize. It did go off here. I have only one game. It's not usually my style on the site. Usually come in with at least a 3-pack, but that this has been one of our lightest stories here in several weeks, or if not a couple months right now. So I'll have definitely get back in action here. You can get my short-term, long-term pass, 3-day, 7-day, 30-day over there at Tony'sPicks.com. Those are already turned in as a pretty heavily discounted. So ride with me here this week. Let's go all the way through the Sweet 16 by getting my 7-day all-sports pass over at Tony'sPicks.com. I'm coming off a pretty good run here right now. Over the last 7 days, you see they're nearly 8 units of profit. Right now, had a nice 4-1 day in the UFC over the weekend. So join me over at Tony'sPicks.com. Join all the cappers over at Tony Fix and Pick Dogs over there. So cool to be involved with them over here with the drive-thru right now, Tony. So could be a good week here. I know we got to wait a few days to get back in action here in the NCAA tournament. I think we're looking forward to some closer games. Tony, Cinderella's left holding the pumpkin right now, apparently, in the NCAA tournament. I know we got a couple of dogs there. I took them the corn with Iowa and Nebraska, but you know what? They've been a good program here. Obviously, Iowa's got a nice coach in McCollum, and Nebraska's been growing. So I don't think I really see a true Cinderella here coming up in the Sweet 16, but that's okay. That leaves for hopefully better games this week. Yeah, there were some great games, man. The madness did pay off, although there was some lopsided games too. So we'll be definitely in action. Ride that 7-day all sports pass with me or any of the cappers over at Tony's Picks and Pick Dogs.
That's right, guys. Got Ramon over at Tony's Picks. Link in the description will get you right over to his site. You can scroll down and get on board with his long-term subscriptions and use that promo code TonyT at checkout, and you'll save that 15%. Link in the description to go ahead and get signed up. All right, Ramon, it's always great having the show. Have a great night. We'll catch up with you tomorrow, but we can catch up with you late night. We call Ramon the Prince of Darkness, 3 a.m. Eastern Time, midnight Pacific. It's the Night Moves over on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Complete rundown on all the games.
Yeah, for sure. We do all the major sports. I like to start the show talking about some different sports too. Do a little recap. You allow me to, kind of have my own sports show. So I think real honored to be on there with invite the captains on. If we're going to make him come on here at midnight in Las Vegas, and I do like to talk a little bit of sports. The tennis there, Tony. Earlier today, Victoria Mboko of Canada looks good here. Beats Mira Andreeva. And, while we had some downtime waiting for the tennis start, I was trying to find her in the futures markets, and she's not even up there. And I love this player, Mboko, from Canada. So keep an eye on that, everybody. And I'll see you tonight at 3 a.m. Eastern, midnight Pacific on Night Moves right here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel.
For Ramon there on Night Moves. Ramon, have a great night. We'll catch up with you later. Ramon here on the drive. Let's continue here, guys. Get to my pick. Sorry for the late start. I know some of the games are starting. We just had some technical difficulty to start the show, but we've got this thing rolling. Let's get to my game here. Bucks and Clippers. The Clippers going to lay 13.5. The total 220.5. I'm going to go. I'm not going Timberwolves. I'm going to go here with the Bucks here plus the 13.5 in this one. This is a big number. Let me go ahead and fix the graphic here because you guys always got to see the pick. I know that, so let me go ahead and get that up there for you guys because it will be the Bucks for tonight. I'm a little concerned here with this Clippers defense over the past couple of weeks here. It has gone south and they've dropped games, but also the concern here with the Clippers has been the Norman Powell replacement. Benedict Mathurin has been injured, and that to me has been a concern. They've been struggling of late here to get on the win, and of course, don't be fooled by that score against Dallas. They went into overtime against Dallas, a team that's tanking. They could not extend against Dallas. Of course, they did extend with Jones with the big overtime for the Clippers to push the number or miss it based on when you got the number. I saw 7.5 to close, but it was 7 for most of the day there. But you're looking here at this Clipper team allowing 51% shooting over the past 2 weeks with 37 from 3. You know, the Bucks over the past 2 weeks, 49% from the field, 41% from 3. Bucks have covered 2 of 3 with good shooting. The Clippers have missed the cover in 5 of 6 with bad defense. I'll go ahead and take those points with the Bucks at 13.5. All right, guys, over at on the sites for tonight, I have a best bet on the board right now from the NBA, so get on board with me. And get signed up, of course, over at Tony's Picks as well. I have a play for you as well. Best bet on both sites, so get on board with me and use the promo code TonyT. Check out Tony's Picks. Save that 15% off. The promo code at Pick Dogs is PICK to save you that 15%. So get on board and use that promo code. All right, guys. Again, thanks for joining us here on the relaunch of the drive-thru. We're going to be with you guys here Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. each time. It is a collaboration with Pick Dogs and Tony's Picks. We will get the graphic for the recap. Let me go ahead and recap the plays for today. Javon was on the over in the Houston Rockets and the Bulls game. He went over there. Justin, like Cooper Flag, 34 points, rebounds, and assists there. PRA for Justin with Cooper Flag, 34. And then David Racy, like the Pistons money line. It was El Ninos with the Spurs laying at 3.5. Rod isn't here today, but he liked Utah first half at 5.5. Chris Atkins, anytime goal scorer. Alex Lafreniere here for his pick from NHL. And of course, Bo with the Pacers plus the points, and Ramon coming in with the Trailblazers laying the 16 against the Nets. And I'll be on the clip joint, going against the clip joint. I'm on the Bucks plus the 13.5. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Drive-Thru. We're back in tomorrow, so make sure you like, subscribe, set those notifications. We greatly appreciate it. I'd like everybody in the chat tonight. Our man Petrup likes the triple-double there with Cooper Flag. CalDog, always great seeing you as well. Lance Wells in there. We had Galacta Gaming in there as well. CTC 4200 complete. Tone Z999 there in there as well.